by Mr. Darko Beats.
Oh man, let's get right into it. Nothing like being on the wrong end of some US Open Cup magic to really take the wind out of your sails from not dethroning, but beating the strongest team in the Eastern Conference. That is Cincinnati.
Yeah, they're up there.
On the weekend. We're a few minutes removed from the result, the Open Cup result. So, you can imagine the Pittsburgh header goes in and we walk our pissed off asses back here to the stew to kind of share some analysis on both the Cincy game, on this Pittsburgh game that we just watched, and I guess try to grapple with the idea of the highs that we felt after the Cincy game, kind of all of us as a community, to now what is a really low, especially in the way that the game really played out.
Yeah, I just think it's, I don't want to put too much weight on the U.S. Open Cup game, but it is really embarrassing. Like, it is just, something that the kids were able to go farther in. I mean, we're getting bounced in the round of 32. Yeah. Like, there was a real idea and hope that the kids were going to actually go and possibly be able to go win the thing.
Last year,
right. Yeah. And this year, we have a handful of guys that genuinely start every single game or in contention to start every game. I mean, there were some decent performances. I think Romero showed himself to be, a very valuable piece of the team and a good backup. Outside of that, I mean, you kind of got some stinkers all around. You got some missed chances that were pretty clear, like with the Julian miss. There's just so much to digest. And I mean, it's literally, it's 9:09 at this point. Like, we are so close to the game of just ended.
Yeah. And I think you're right. Like, last year, the kids were just able to do so much more. And I think even today, leading up to the game, with all the second team short-term contracts coming in for them to play for the first team, I expected actually Pascal to field a much weaker lineup than we ended up seeing. Like, it has to be said, Ojeda started, Hannes started, Pereira started, Hack, Burke, Tavon. Like, we had many dudes out there that are within our regular 11 regularly.
Yeah.
We definitely did not roll out a bum lineup by any means.
Yeah.
So to go out in the 32 is really, really just a disgrace. I think, it's the first team's opportunity to be back in the cup. And obviously with that lineup that Pascal put together, like, he was expecting to win the game and to do what he could to, potentially take a shot at the cup. We've seen far weaker lineups from Ronnie or Cushing when we've been in the cup during, their past 10 years. But I mean, it dies immediately. The dream dies immediately.
I've been trying to hold this in for the last 2 minutes, forever long. Tana is a bomb. Like, I don't care. I'm gonna put all of my chips into this dude sucks. Like, he just is a bum. I don't think he'll ever be good for the club. Genuinely. Like I can't circle 25 minutes of solid film from him. Mm-hmm. I'm out on him. You got to start Hack at center back, or a Child, or the kid from Vermont. Anything is better than he's genuinely a liability. Every single time that we see him in a lineup or see him come onto the field, we're expecting bare minimum a yellow card. Today it was red, and ultimately, defensively at the end, we can't hold on with 9 men or 10 men.
And for some of the fans upset with the ref, it has to be said that was a red card. I would have to say
the dude earned it.
I mean,
he earned it.
Intentionally dove to take out the last man, even if the ball was out of reach to Romero. I mean, it's hard to say, but like, even beyond, I think, giving up the foul itself, like, he put himself in that position, and really we put ourselves in that specific position on that foul with just a complete lack of urgency. Like, he just allowed the ball to fall, take a touch off the ground, and I don't know if it's hard to tell what it is, if we just have a mindset, or maybe some of the players might have a mindset on the pitch that we're better than the Riverhounds, simply like we're better players and we don't need to come into this game attacking as hard as we would against what we consider to be tougher competition. But that is just, I mean, that's the mindset that causes cup sets. Like, that's how you get clipped. You go in thinking you're untouchable, you don't have to try that hard, and then you have a scrappy team like the Riverhounds that steal a header at home in the 95th minute.
And like I said, we're not putting too much emotion. Obviously, it sucks to lose, and we're pissed off at that, and I think that'll come off in this episode. But I think that this game just highlights bigger issues with the team that we've been seeing for a while, like the inconsistencies in, kind of playing down to opponents. That's a theme that we've been talking about for years. The theme of this year of being really, really bad on the road, not being able to kill teams off. This is a team that if we convert 2 or 3 of the chances that we create in the game, we're winning this game comfortably. We're bringing in kids and giving out, debuts or whatever it is. But like the commentator mentioned during the game, the last 3 wins that we have are all 1-0 wins. Mm-hmm. And we're not killing those games off. We're just kind of letting teams stick around and stay in games, and we're causing the full 90 minutes to be stressful. Next goal could be the deciding goal or the goal that kills us. It's not the U.S. Open Cup game. It's the themes that are showing through this team. And it's not a championship style team with those themes showing up.
Yeah, I mean, this is the first game of the season, right, where we've had a win and go home type of moment, and obviously we folded against competition that I think we would consider to be a lot lesser than us, at least on paper. I was trying to look up, like, what is the salary of the entire Riverhounds team, right? And they're saying, like, the average USL player might make, like, $50,000 a year. And then I'm, like, going on the MLS salary page, and I was trying to put together a shitty tweet of, like, okay, what does Ojeda make? And then what does this entire team make together as a unit? Yeah. And how is Ojeda, like, double what that is? And you can, and not to pick on Ojeda, to be fair, like, you could do that with any guy within our lineup.
Double down on him.
Hooley, he as well.
Yeah.
And
Ojeda, I mean, had one of our best chances or best shots or best chances at a highlight play. I mean, when that shot goes off of the post, if that just a couple inches lower, we're looking at a completely different game. I think that was right before the Tana red card too. So, I mean, like, completely changes the game. But yeah, just you're right. The two teams, like, we are wildly more invested. I mean, nobody's out there taking DoorDash shifts like could possibly be on the Pittsburgh team. It's tough, and it sucks that we waited to record because now this episode's a little bit of a downer.
Yeah, but I mean, we can bring spirits back up with the Cincy game, and I think maybe just wrapping up the Open Cup portion of the episode. We're trying our best not to take too much from an Open Cup game, a midweek with a lineup mixed of guys that start and some guys that don't. What do you think we can take from this, if anything? Whether that's formulating stronger opinions on what Baki can do, whether that's if Perea in any way has a future at the 10. These are some of the interesting lineup decisions that we were able to see within the situation that presented itself. Like, we need to, in the transfer window, like, a backup striker at the bare minimum has to be something that's addressed, right? Yeah,
I mean, we can't go into games with somebody who's kind of like, for lack of a better word, a black hole for chances. Like, it's where chances are going to die currently,
and it's like for me a positioning thing too. I don't really know. And Pascal talked about it, I think, with Glenn Crooks about how, like, Baki is just not making the runs that, like, a traditional striker makes, and I think that'll throw off the players around you too, because they don't know how to deliver the ball to you, because they can't anticipate what you're going to do. And like, I think I texted you, like, the highlight moment for me was Tavon plays a cross in, and I think it ends up going off the crossbar back into play. But, like, Baki's in the goal. Like, he's over the line. Like, VAR would rule Baki, if Baki was a soccer ball, a goal. Right. Like, he's in the back of the goal. Like, why are you touching the net when a cross is being played in and you're R9?
It's beyond me.
I just don't.
It's beyond me.
Truly.
You think of the chance that he had where he got the ball, got to pass the defenders, and he's kind of sprinting forward. That's like a vintage Alonso goal. Like, Alonso scores probably 3 or 4 of those a season, and he doesn't give himself enough space with the touch. He doesn't, have enough urgency in it, and that's where you see Alonso's killing those off 9 times out of 10. Munsef gets it and can't even get himself into the position to give himself a chance at a shot, and gets bodied off of the ball. It's just you need to be able to have some level of confidence that if he's getting into positions that he's going to be able to finish at least 1 out of 10, like 1 out of 20 chances.
Right. And it's like what we've talked about earlier in the season. Like, we're an injury or two away from having no chance at making the playoffs.
Yes.
Like no chance.
Yeah.
Like if an Alonso goes down, which God forbid, knock on all the wood that exists. You can't in confidence, I think, as Pascal, roll Baki out into any meaningful minutes.
Oh, I mean, you'd have to, but you're not going to love it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I just...
And what about Pereira at the 10? That's my other thing. I mean, I don't know how much we can take from this. And
yeah, I don't really
at
know.
times he was pressing from the midfield harder than Baki was on the back line, which to me was a Baki red flag, a good look for Pereira. But
yeah.
I don't know that there's too much to take away from 90 minutes of him.
Yeah, it was like, you didn't really see too much good, too much bad. Mm-hmm. Like, it was just kind of, he was there. I would have personally preferred him, where Hack was and Hack back in defense, even though I think Hack has a better chance of controlling a game from the midfield versus a USL opponent. Hack, at the end of the day, like, he's just going to be a defender. That's just what he is. And Pereira, given the opportunity in midfield, I feel like would have shined a little bit more, would have had a better game, would have been able to have like a big impact. And ultimately, he just ends up going in as like a 5 or a 5.5 score out of 10. And it's just like, you can't really take too much from it.
And knowing that, obviously Maxi's not going to go on the midweek. Who would you have put into the 10?
I mean, give the kid a shot.
Sure?
No, Maximo.
Who's the kid? Maximo?
Yeah.
Oh, I think we got timing effed, as they say, because I think he got hurt in the NYCFC 2 game.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
I mean, other than that, there's really not.
Who do you go with? Do you get a Hannes in there?
Or you just don't even put
you don't run
somebody,
a
you
position.
just don't run a 10.
Yeah, you don't run
You kind
a
of
10.
play like muddy American ball with like a 4-4-2 or something.
Yeah. I think that's whenever we've seen Baki do pretty well, it seems like he needs support in terms of like a 2-striker system.
Yeah.
But
even then, didn't we run that?
Well,
and it was like,
I think when him and Alonso ran it, I can't remember, was that the preseason potentially?
I know there was in the preseason, but I think we rolled it out.
We rolled it out for real last season with Jovan and Baki in a Leagues Cup game, and that
Just
is
talk
like
about dog shit.
You're reaching for straws at that point.
Nick Cushing was in hell, bro. That man was in hell. Jeez.
Yeah. So that's the Open Cup. I mean, that it's unfortunate that like that's done for the season. Like we do not have that to look forward to in any way. We won't see an Open Cup game live. I guess
honestly
maybe
at this
Hartford.
point,
So now Hartford is our Open Cup team, if they're still in.
I think I'll roll Pitt.
I think they were out 60
Because
around
Pitt,
64.
I don't know how the other game's going, but Pitt is going to play either Indy or Philly, and so I think we just roll Pitt, especially if it's versus Philly.
Yeah,
Kind
and
of forced.
Hartford went out the previous round, so we're just down bad in terms of fandom.
We got the River Hounds.
We're gonna claim the Hounds,
especially if they got to go play
that put
Philly.
us down. So yeah, that's the Open Cup.
I mean, talking about the league
It is
form,
what it is. We're on to
you kind of got to be on to the next thing.
onto the Cincinnati conversation, which can maybe brighten the pot. It seems like you're maybe not as sold as to what this result meant compared to other thoughts and conversations that I've heard online. So if you want to take the floor and
it's not to be a Debbie Downer. It's just to like temper expectations and like align where our thoughts are with the team. Like, we are terrible away from home. That, scraping a 1-0 win at home doesn't change that fact. We've proven that we can get results at home. That's not necessarily, it's not a guarantee, and that's not something that you look on the schedule and you're like, we're going to win. It's not 2021. But we have a pretty good chance of, 80% or more to go and get a result at home. I want this team to go away from home and at least get a draw, get a win, get 3 points on the road, be able to win by more than one goal. It's good to get clean sheets on the board, and I'm all for it. It's just I need to see that other part to really start believing, because there's no championship team that had the away record that we do right now.
Yeah. No, it's true. I mean, if half of your games are away, you have to do something.
You got to get a couple of them.
Yeah.
Got to pick up a few.
I mean, I guess there are some positives to take away from Cincy. And one thing that I wanted to talk about specifically, because I think people were pretty loud about two players specifically in that game. And it's kind of like a divisive conversation about Hooley happening online.
I did see that.
Matt Doyle went in on him a little bit with a tweet. I guess he felt like the praise was a bit too high just because he had that pretty impressive goal.
It was a nice goal,
to say the least, early on in the game. And then there was the moment where him and Tavon kind of got mixed up on that right side, and like Julian was just showing no effort whatsoever to taking on and like beating a guy and just giving it back to Tavon. So where do you stand on it? Is that one moment enough to like kind of take away from his performance overall?
I mean, yes and no. Like you obviously want him to be giving effort. You want effort to be shown to warrant play time and starts and all that stuff. But at the end of the day, your job as a forward is to score goals. On the day he did that, also the people saying that have no clue what Pascal is telling the players to do. Mm-hmm. So you're just kind of like winging it and being like, well, normally in soccer, this ball is played down the channel and Julian's supposed to play a ball in. Who knows if Pascal's telling him, well, if this defender's in this area, you don't go here, you support Tavon. You saw Tavon early on too. Instead of playing the ball wide, he's trying to stop his run and make a cross from that point. Mm. So to me, it almost seems tactically Pascal is maybe warning against that in certain moments, or specifically in this game he was. I just think it's interesting to speak on that without knowing what Pascal's really telling the dudes to do. And
I think what you just said there, it's like highlights it specifically, like what he chose to do in this game. Right. Like more than one time this season, like most times this season, we've seen Pascal kind of employing opponent-specific tactics.
Yeah.
And that was likely something that was addressed within, the lead up to the game and what their plan was. And obviously, like, it ultimately worked. I think we really kind of upset and frustrated Cincinnati at times with our press, but like, yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it was, the rain and kind of a so-so pitch or whatever it was, but they just kind of seemed like we had, although it was 1-0 and we weren't necessarily like beating them off the pitch, they just seemed kind of like uninspired towards the end of the game. And,
could have been 2, to be fair.
It should have been 2.
Should have been 2?
Should have been 2.
And I was almost starting this agenda within our own house that Alonso's kind of a pen merchant this year. It has to be said. Like, he is scoring a lot, to be fair. A lot of those goals have been penalties. A lot of those goals have been penalties that he's not won himself. Just needs to be said. And he's also missed 2 pens now.
That's what I was.
So there's like a little bit of a weird energy around it.
Much more pen merchanty if he had scored all 3 of them. And I don't know, do you start to look another way at any point with him missing the pens?
It's hard to say, because I do think he's our best chance at a goal at any time.
And what was the Minnesota one? Was it a miss or was it saved? I was trying to remember.
Minnesota was.
I want to say it was miss, right? He skied over.
No, he hit the bar.
Hit the bar,
like crossbar, dead on.
And this time he hit the woodwork. So it's not being saved. You know what I mean? Like it's actively missed, like not putting the shot on net.
Yeah, and we had this, not issue, but this kind of feeling around Maxi for a long time, that if he was given a pen, it wouldn't be necessarily a high chance of going in. I think Alonso is genuinely our best chance at scoring at any time, so he needs to be on the pens. But he kind of is on thin ice.
Is he on watch right now?
He's on watch. He's bare minimum like
another one. It's like
another one, and you're
removed.
Giving it to probably a Hannes.
Yeah,
or a Maxi if he's on the field.
Well, I don't think my generational trauma allows me to do that. But I mean, if Hooley's on the field, I think he would be my go-to. And I don't even know that I've ever seen him take a pen. And I could be crazy, but it'd have to be like a shootout, right? That would have happened in.
Yeah. I think he might have missed it in a shootout.
We might just have a team of non-penalty takers.
In a shootout.
Give it to Freese, honestly.
I don't remember.
Right?
Because we got knocked out of the playoffs on penalties, right? And I'm pretty sure he missed his.
Did we? No, we didn't. Did we?
I'm pretty sure.
Well, we lost.
We lived and died by the Pens.
Oh, you know what? We were thinking of the Leagues Cup. We have 3 penalty shootouts in a row.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were at the one in New England. Then we won the one at Yankee Stadium. And then we lost to, I think, a Liga MX team at home in Pens.
Yeah.
Yeah, so a lot of Pens.
Yeah, something like that.
But I think in the playoffs, we just got the brace being off us by the Red Bulls.
Oh, yeah.
At Citi Field,
That's true.
unfortunately.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it was this, what do they say, scariest score in soccer?
Yeah.
2-0.
Well, so, like, I'm by no means out on the team, and the Cincy win is still a great win. I just want to see a little bit more. I want to see a little killer edge from the team. I just want, the clean sheets are cool, but if we can open it up a little bit and, get these guys imagining a little bit more offensively and just having that killer instinct to put these games away, I'd have a little more faith. And like a road win or 2 every 2 months. Like something on the road.
You have to at some point.
And maybe it's like a case of the away opponents have been pretty tough, to be fair, for the early part of the season. And maybe, as we get deeper into the season and the team gets a little more confident, and you get a couple of easier opponents on the road, like we can get those wins or get those results. It's just, you need to do it. And you need to be able to kill off teams that are well below your level.
Yeah. No, it has to be done. Like that Alonso pen, for instance, has to go in against Cincy to just really dispel any ability of a comeback.
Right. And like a 2-0 win, we're in here like really puffing our chests out, really talking shit. 1-0, it's kind of like, yeah, we won, but it's, didn't kill them.
And the momentum that a second goal can kind of put behind your sails, like at that point, taking Cincy's mental down a notch and putting ours up one, like that could rally into additional opportunities, building confidence for other players on the pitch. Like it all kind of comes together to continue to push the thing. And instead we're kind of, looking at it as like another scrappy 1-0 win that we were kind of lucky to get out of.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
Oh, no, there was one other thing. So I said 2 players that there was conversations about online. I think the second one, so the first one was Hooli, the second one, and I had to join the discourse myself and send out a tweet about Thiago, who I think was unfairly getting some criticism online after this game, which to me extra didn't make sense because I thought this was him. He's been returning to form really like the past 2 or 3 games and back to being the guy that we kind of know. And I think from a rapport standpoint, like a few season standpoint, like Thiago to me, and somebody was coming at his consistency, like he is probably what we always used to say was the most consistent player on the team aside from like Freese and Santi. And now Santi's gone. And it's just Thiago is that guy. Like I just feel like I had to make a stance. Like maybe you disagree, but like I feel somebody specifically came at his consistency, and I just don't think that is one thing that you can bring up about him.
I would say this season he's been very inconsistent. And that, that's a fair assessment, but to look at, a guy who in that game hit 100 appearances for us, and among those 100 performances, you could literally look at it as, a percentage of how many were good versus bad. You're looking at a clean 85% of really, really good.
That's like,
you know what I mean?
Good. That's
like 85
is crazy.
85% of being like not an issue.
85 is insane.
Permanent starter, captain, contender, player. So it is tough to look at it and be like, call him an inconsistent player. But there is also the other side of it where you do have to hold somebody accountable, even if, in 100 appearances, 85% are good. How do we get you to 90% though? How do we get you to 91? Like, how do we get you holding yourself accountable as well to a higher standard and being a leader on the team and somebody that we can count on to be a leader for years to come? It comes with being able to look at yourself and be like, I need to hold myself accountable, not going at media guys when they're just like assessing you in fairness. And yeah, just being able to lock the fuck in a little bit.
And one conversation that I thought of, thinking of Thiago as the captain now, which he has kind of held for a while now, predominantly since Sean left. I know there's been some mix-ups where Cushing thought he would give Sands a go, and obviously Thiago has had some absences here and there where other guys got to put the band on, but like from a historical captain perspective, like where do you think he falls ranking-wise? I know we had Villa, we had Ring, we had Sean, and we had Thiago sort of as our 4 main captains, right? I don't think I'm forgetting anybody.
In terms of like a main, no, I don't
like
think
those
so.
are our longest tenured captains that like held the bit, like they were truly a captain and not just a fill-in at one point or another. Like,
where does he rank? I mean,
I feel like you
have some names up there that are Mount Rushmore
names, so we gotta do.
So, it's tough to scale him. I think
he would have to be above Ring in my mind.
Where he kind of rises above is like what's annoying to us is that he'll physically call out media guys, and to us that kind of docks him points. But for the locker room,
I feel like that's not even a factor to me.
When you think about the locker room, though, like the locker room is respecting that and seeing that and being like, oh, he's got our back, right? So I don't know. He's not like top 2, but
he's not top 2.
He's not 4.
Is he above Sean to you? That's what I'm grappling with. That's what I was grappling with throughout the week.
Was the captain for a championship team. Like you can't.
I know.
Like you probably even put Sean at 1 because all Villa did was score a ton of goals.
He probably is at 1. Shawnee.
And then on top of that, for Villa.
Yeah, like if we're talking character clauses, if we're bringing in
that's what I'm
Thiago getting mad at Michael Andor one time, if we're bringing in that.
Like Villa is not even top 2. So maybe Thiago has become top 2. I think we talked ourselves into it.
Yeah.
Because Villa, you're not only a captain of, the 11 on the field and the 18 on the, on the squad and all that stuff, but you're a captain of the club and you're supposed to conduct yourself in a way.
Yeah. Yeah.
So obviously he can't be considered in the top either.
And it's crazy that Thiago hit 100 caps too. I know we just had this conversation about Tavon. I think it might have been last episode, but like, it just really flies. Like these guys.
Isn't it crazy that Tavon hit it first though?
Yeah, that sounds
like,
so
that
weird.
Seems weird to me.
It is, and Tavon is also like 10 years younger than Thiago, which adds to it. But it's so weird. I feel like, we already talked about this with Tavon, but we're now getting like pillars of our team that have been here for a while, and that's a pretty exciting thing.
Yeah, I just want it to show though.
Yeah,
I want like that leadership and experience to show on the road.
The road,
That's my biggest point is, let's lock in on the road, get a couple of results, and I think somebody posted a table, and we're not too far off of being amongst the top 5 in the league, or in our side of the league. Mm-hmm. And that is largely because of the away results. Like we're a very good team at home. We're very, very poor on the road. If we can get that to switch, this team, the sky is the limit.
Yeah.
And then you don't even have to worry about Mounsef not scoring because Alonso is going to get it done.
Right. Yeah. And we've got a bit of a home stretch upcoming. We've got Montreal, then we've got DC away, but then we roll into a derby, then Chicago at home, then Houston at home. So like a bit of a home stand, 3 home games in a row, but a good amount of midweeks mixed in. I think over the course of the next 2 weeks and the week that we just had, we've played in 3 weeks like 6 games.
Damn.
Which is crazy. So it's time to stress test that depth and make David Lee feel uncomfortable.
The depth of the question.
Yeah. I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like make the team and Pascal and Lee feel uncomfortable that like we have not equipped our team to play 6 games in what would be like 18 days or 21 days.
I mean, think about the fact that we even had to play a Thiago tonight. Like that shouldn't happen. There shouldn't be, not to be disrespectful to the team that literally just beat us, but like there's no reason you should be starting somebody with 100 caps against the Riverhounds in a round of 32 of the U.S. Open Cup.
Yeah.
That shouldn't happen.
No. So that's that. That's episode 160. Appreciate everybody tuning in. It sucks that the Riverhounds fucking took away from what I think would have been a
cool
better,
Cincy one.
Yeah, a cool Cincy win, and something that we could really build on. Feels like it's harder to build on something when you kind of have this in between it, because it's like the fresher thing kind of in the mind of the locker room. So we'll see what happens against Montreal. I would say I like our chances against anybody at home. So we got to keep rolling.
Yeah. And that's not to take away from the Riverhounds. I think too often in sports media, but also soccer media, it's always about what the bigger team didn't do, or what, the team that was supposed to win didn't do, and we don't highlight a lot of what the Riverhounds in this case did well, which is they disrupted us in the midfield a lot. They, were quick to counter and things like that, put a lot of pressure on us, and all of that is good. But at the end of the day, we're not a Riverhounds podcast, so we're not going to talk about it.
Yeah.
But I'll give you the flowers at the end that no one will listen to.
I was going to say, if the stew was still in the house, you might have switched into a pit hat.
Oh, I was going to.
Yeah.
I was going to, but I figured I'd rock the Boston just to give you the extra. But at least the Knicks, did you see the Knicks?
They aren't winning right now.
No, they are. They won.
They won again?
They came back down 20. So
holy moly.
There's things to be happy about.
What if the Knicks sweep them?
I
We have friends that will need to be checked on if that happens. I'll just leave it at that.
Yeah. And you called it out yesterday on the way to soccer. I had the Knicks shorts on, even though I'm a Lakers fan.
Yeah.
It's just because.
And there's potentially a third game that is hitting the podcast right now that needs to be talked about. That is the pickup game that we participated in. I feel like people would look at us differently when you often on this show sit here and say, if they need a striker or they need a midfielder or a winger, like, I'm available at any time.
Like, call me up.
You made your best case for that.
Yeah.
I mean, if NYCFC had scouts in the building, like, there might be a call set up, just an exploratory call.
There was more than I won't give the number, but I had more than 3 goals.
Yes, you did your Tati impression.
I beat the Tati.
Yeah. Oh, I don't thought you had a poker. I didn't know you went 5 on him. 5 on him is.
And then I had the assist to you.
And we assisted
each other.
Is there a word for that?
Yeah.
I thought there was a word for it where, like, a player assists somebody and then
we did
they give it
the
back.
Julian and Hannes.
Yeah, exactly. So, I'm just saying, on the come up, we're trying to stoke the flames of that media game conversation again. I'm just saying, do not let us show up hot to that media game.
And don't let us. We're going to be on the same team regardless, I think.
We'll force it.
And,
I mean, that'll be a contractual clause for our
just
participation.
don't be sad when I'm putting 5 on your head too.
Yeah. And if you're watching this from the future in an attempt to pull that clip and then put it against our highlights of doing absolutely nothing in the media game, don't do that.
Yeah, no.
Just let us rock.
No. It really is like, are able to control the ball on this day? Yes or no? And then the performance is either good or bad based on that.
Yeah.
But yeah, up the Knicks, up the boys at open play.
Up the Knicks is crazy.
And what?
I don't know.
What do you want me to cheer the Lakers again?
No,
can't do that.
The Celtics.
Celtics.
Yeah, I think I've fully defected, and now, like, I have to live and die. I feel like I have for a little while.
That's a little fair weather.
Yeah, but I'm not.
But in your defense, it's not like you're not jumping on the bandwagon. I think you're supporting a friend. Ultimately,
Friends, yeah,
yeah,
a lot of friends, yeah.
Landon.
I've been to the Garden. I've never been to MSG.
Fair.
So, I don't know.
Fair.
Hard to say. I mean,
I've never been to Staples Center or whatever it's called, Crypto
Arena.
Yeah, never been.
Yeah.
Looked at it, but I've never been. So.
No. Nobody will be in there for a little while. They'll be in Kendrick Lamar music
Hopefully
videos.
LeBron won't even be there anymore.
That's wild. That's crazy.
All right.
Shout out to one Lakers fan listening to that. That even matters to in any conceivable way. That's 160. Appreciate you guys for sticking around. Oh, programming, I guess a little update. We have the next midweek next week, and I think that's the Derby's midweek, right? We got Montreal Saturday,
No,
then we've got...
Derby is on a Saturday, the 17th, and that is the specific reason I won't be able to attend. Most likely.
That's... Okay, yeah, so we've got...
Atlanta's the midweek.
DC.
And then Atlanta.
Yeah, so we've got Montreal. You won't hear from us after that. We're going to push a week from today, again, on a Thursday morning. You'll hear from us after the DC game, and then we'll get back on track, talk after the Derby, and then I think we're going to be on a little hiatus for a little while.
Or virtual thing or whatever, but
Yeah.
it's going to be tough for a bit. The boys we got a lot of moving parts right now.
Way too many.
Just too many moving parts.
Yeah.
You're leaving the country. We're leaving the country together.
I'll be in Ireland for 2 of our games because there's a midweek that week too.
And I don't know how Discord works internationally.
Yeah, I don't know if they'll fly.
So
But I do know it costs $35 for me to text my friends and girlfriend while I'm in Ireland.
maybe I'll just have to rip a solo epi. I don't know. We'll see.
Or call in the Avengers. I don't know who the Avengers would be, but
Oh yeah,
I mean, there's...
calling a couple guys, calling
Yeah.
some reinforcements.
Otherwise, we would have to do we'd have to figure out the time zones. One of us would be recording at 4.
And not to mention that weekend, I think there's a trip down south that I'm going on to explore. So who knows?
Yeah.
It, like I said,
Oh, yeah, that
there's
is
so
that
many
weekend,
moving
too.
parts.
I mean, if you don't hear from us from 2 weeks,
Yeah, or maybe it'll just be like a TikTok live thing that gets posted or something. Who knows? Who knows?
TikTok live.
I don't know.
That's the most
Just
random.
throwing it at the
Our
wall.
next episode's going to be exclusively on TikTok live.
It's going to be exclusively on our Discord server. That if you didn't get the invite a year ago, you just don't. You don't get to see it.
You can't access it.
But that's enough waffling. We'll get back on track, obviously, when things kind of settle down and we figure out what's going on for the rest of the year. So, yeah.
Such a year, yeah.
Yeah.
Stu's going bye-bye eventually.
Stu is. Yeah.
It's a conversation for another day.
That is.
Yeah.
So we will see you guys then. If you made it here, drop the like, subscribe, whatever. There's nothing better than the last 20 minutes being pure waffle.
Yeah.
So we'll see you guys after the Derby.
Yeah, see you then.
Peace.
Peace.